My name is Jeremy Weir. I am a licensed lead inspector and risk assessor with Southeast Lead Consultants based out of Atlanta, Georgia. And we are filming a series of films here about how to do lead-based paint testing, risk assessments, so you can have an idea how it is we do what we do, the technology in which we use, and how this would take place inside of your own home. We can be reached at SE Lead Testing, like Southeast, SELeadTesting.com, or you can call us at 770-310-7909. Again, 770-310-7909. Just to touch on the equipment which we use for testing lead-based paint, here we have an X-ray fluorescence analyzer, and an XRF analyzer is what we call it for short. But what this allows us to do is to test for lead-based paint with immediate results, giving us an accurate result without cutting any paint chips, without marring your walls. We're able to go through your whole home, interior, exterior, or commercial project without leaving any marks behind. This analyzer here and the other one in which we use are HUD approved, meaning they have a performance characteristics sheet, which is important when doing lead testing. It just, in essence, means it has a stamp of approval for the ability to detect lead-based paint in childhood occupied facilities. Alright, to give you an example about how we test, we're going to start here on this wall in the dining room. This is the A-side wall, meaning it's the street side wall of the house. And as you see, it's blinking here. 6 seconds later, it's giving us a result. As you can see, there's no marks on the wall. And here's an image of your result.
Okay, continuing on with our lead-based paint inspection following HUD Chapter 7 protocols for the inspection of lead-based paint in homes. You'll see here we're going to test all 4 walls, we're going to test ceilings, we're going to test door components, window components, miscellaneous trim components throughout the house, whether it be kitchens or living rooms, closets, as we talked about, testing shelves. And then we will test all 4 sides of the exterior, including windows, doors, stair treads, soffits, fascia, components like that. And as you see here, with using the XRF, we have immediate accurate results. We're able to get in and out of rooms in a matter of minutes. Typically a 3-bedroom home will take about 2 hours to test for every room, including the exterior. And if you follow the HUD Chapter 7 protocol, you only need to do this one time. We can get a complete picture of your home, and that report will live with the home as you go forward. If you sell the house or if you do any renovations within the house, this report will suffice for all those purposes, and we will not need to show up to do this again.
So why would you want to test for lead-based paint? Typically, if you have children under the age of 6, your home is considered a childhood occupied facility or childhood occupied housing. And children at the age of 6 and under, their body is absorbing lots of calcium, lots of iron, and your body will mistake lead for calcium and iron. So at that young age of brain development, bone development, rapid growth, lead-based paint in the system of a child can have some severe impact to their health, to their hearing. Lower IQs are some of the consequences of lead exposure. And so lead-based paint is a very serious issue with kids. If you're of childbearing age, you can pass lead in utero. And so if you're ever starting a renovation on your home, you're going to want to know if you have lead-based paint, because once you start tearing into walls, you're going to create lots of dust. Contrary to the myth you have to eat lots of paint in order to get poisoned, you really only need a little bit of dust. I've heard it said once that you take the equivalent of a packet of Sweet and Low of lead dust and sprinkle it in a 10,000 square foot house, then you will have a hazardous floor with too high of a lead concentration. So, to give you an idea, it doesn't take much. You get a little bit of dust on your hands, your child gets dust on their hands, puts their hands in their mouth, and the result could be having some lead poisoning in their blood and start to have some learning disabilities. So lead is a very serious issue, and when we appear at homes and do investigations for child that have lead exposure, every single time those parents are saying, "I wish I would have known." So we certainly take it serious. We believe everybody should take it serious. Lead exposure, lead poisoning is 100% preventable. And so by doing these lead inspections, risk assessments, on which we're talking about in this video here, it'll equip you with the knowledge to know, should you renovate, how should you renovate, and if you're buying a home, what to look for in advance of doing any sorts of renovations. Just to give you an idea of lead-based paint and the probability, EPA says between 1960 and 1978 you have a 24% chance of having lead-based paint. Between 1941 and 1959, you have a 68% chance of having lead-based paint, and before that, you're almost certain to have lead-based paint, 87%. Our experience is it's typically a much higher chance than that. It's there, it's just a matter of it's possibly been removed or covered, but chances are you have it. So, if you have a home built in the 70s, there's a good chance you don't have lead-based paint, but we always assume that there is until we can show differently. And for renovation contractors, if we do some lead testing and we can show that there is no lead-based paint, then that home will be exempt from the renovation repair painting rule, which will save your customers money and make your work a little bit easier.